KBLA Talk 1580 wishes to congratulate Mayor-elect Karen Bass on her historic win as the first woman and only second African-American to serve as Chief Executive of the City of Los Angeles.
Congratulations, Mayor-elect Bass, and welcome back to Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and this is my very first interview, and I'm proud that it's here.
We are proud to have you here. What do you want to say to the listeners of KBLA Talk 1580?
I want to say thank you from just, I'm just full of the love that I felt every place I went in the community, and I just want the listeners to know that I promise you I won't I will never forget where I'm from, and understand that that is my primary motivation.
Congratulations, Mayor-elect Karen Bass, holding all leaders accountable to you.
No matter who you voted for, no matter who you are or where you live, I will be a mayor for you.
With KBLA Talk 1580, Talk 1580, Talk 1580, we don't back down. We got lots to talk about.
Alright, cool. Yeah.
Talk to me, baby. You're so pretty, little missy, baby. I got one night for you, baby. It's so hot out the cold, let 'em drop to the floor. I want you to talk to me, baby. You're so pretty, little missy, baby. I got one night for you, baby. It's so hot out the cold, let 'em drop to the floor. Talk to me, baby. Work and take the shit off for me, baby. I try to whip your butt for me, baby. You know I got a lot of ops for me. Shot a Raphael, man, I let it drip. 80 pointers on my wrist. I'm hella rich and I let it talk. So talk to me, baby.
You were checking out the Danny Morrison show, KBLA Talk 1580. It is so interesting. You hear songs like this, right? All of these MCs in 2022 are singing on records when it was so frowned upon back in the day. Remember, 50 Cent was eating up Ja Rule for singing on records back in the day. Now Drake sings on every single song.
Yeah, but 50 Cent, I think it was partially about him singing on records, but it was definitely largely in part because he just had a problem with Ja Rule.
He killed his career.
Yeah. That's not funny.
And what is 50 doing on the song 21 Questions? I'm sorry. It sounds like singing to me. This is just me.
50 is just the grand troll. The grand troll.
Let's go to the Grand Queen on the phone. Let's go back to Fahima, who was on the phone. Fahima, you were telling us about a school, right?
Well, I just wanted to comment a little piece of that Ja Rule 50 beef. 50 was bullying Ja Rule.
He was what?
Bullying.
Bullying him.
No, he killed his career.
Yeah, it just was unnecessary. But anyway, going back, I digress. So, going back to the schools, right, because I had something to compare it with, right, at this particular school, they called me back years later to become the drama instructor. And these were things that were not happening in other urban schools. When there was another school that I had worked at, there was an interview on Georgia Avenue. It was a Cesar Chavez school. And at lunchtime, they would just keep telling the kids to be quiet and stop talking. I couldn't understand why they were spending all this time telling the kids, stop talking. Yeah. And it was like crazy. Because the thing is that this is what kids do. They talk. This is what adults do over lunch. And the population control, I can see it. Because, again, if I compare the school in Wisconsin Avenue with the other schools that I worked at, you could tell the school in Wisconsin Avenue, it was a little schoolhouse. As I mentioned, the lunch was superior. There was no metal detectors. And you could tell that the people there really cared for these children. Not to say that the people didn't care about the other kids in the other school. It was structured in an institutional way. Metal detectors as soon as you came in. All right. So I do see the semblance. It's one might say that it's preparing them to go to prison.
So you do agree with
acclimated to.
Yeah, so certain parts of this list you do agree with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But again, had I not been to another public school where they weren't treating children, and again, to get you to understand how affluent this school was. The people that lived in that community most of them sent their kids to private schools, so people from other parts of the city were able to send their kids there because there were so many open slots.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're advocating for charter schools tonight. Is that what you're doing?
No. I'm not advocating for charter schools. I believe in public schools, and I don't even want to get into the discussion of charter schools because that's a whole other discussion. I don't think we have time to get into. No, I'm not a supporter of charter schools, but I'm just saying that many of the schools are structured in a way that it does appear that they're preparing metal detectors, armed guards, and they're institutionalizing them.
I got all kind of problems with armed guards at school, but you could probably sell me on metal detectors in 2022. What is wrong with them passing through a metal detector to walk into the school? Is that an issue?
Again, some of the schools, like there's a school called School Without Walls here that's on the campus of George Washington University. There's two other schools that are here in the district, Banneker. They don't have medical detectives, and these are two of the highest top-rated schools in the nation. They don't have metal detectives at School Without Walls that's on the campus of George Washington University. These types of things tell you what is thought of the students.
What a tough conversation.
That's actually a really good point. What does it say to your students? It's saying off the top, we don't trust you, we don't believe you, right? Versus we have all the faith in the world in you, we have all the belief in the world. But it's just a different day and time. It's just it's a very strange topic to even just discuss, right? But I do remember a school that I attended. Before I attended that school, it was a nice school, predominantly white or maybe even a certain percentage of Hispanic students. It wasn't largely black populated, but there was a shooting there. A black student shot. This was back in the 90s, so it was really it wasn't a mass shooting or anything like that. Of course, it was just one student who shot and killed another student.
Oh wow!
And it was literally what just happened, you know what I mean? And so, but it could happen anywhere. So I'm not necessarily against especially now, I'm not against the metal detectors, but it is true that it is saying something just without saying it, really.
Fahima, Robin is making such a great point right now. It's kind of a catch-22. If you put metal detectors up, they're going to say, well, what are we, some kind of gangster school? What are you doing? You don't trust us as students? But if a shooting actually happens, no metal detectors. What are they going to say? Why didn't you do something to protect our students? So
metal detectors have been in schools so long that if they aren't there in inner city schools, people are going to say, oh, why aren't there any metal detectors? I'm just saying that there are certain schools where there are no metal detectors, right? I primarily worked in predominantly schools in the inner city, but I had a chance to work in Duke Ellington, which is the school that Dave Chappelle attended. Now, maybe now they do have metal detectors, but I know when I worked there in the late 90s and 2000, they didn't have any metal detectors. There are no metal detectors at the School Without Walls, which is on the campus of the George Washington University. I went to a training at a school, which was another top school in the nation called Bell Multicultural. I was shocked. I in metal detectors, but the restroom, there was paper towels, there was seat liners. It looked decent, and you could tell these people really cared about these kids.
We're at the point of no return, I think.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I don't know what the turnaround point is. I think we are here, and I think that no one really would have imagined that we'd be in a place like this. I don't know what the answers are. I don't know how it's going to get better. It's to me, I don't know. I just don't have the answers. I know that it's as prevalent as it probably will ever be. So many people that I know are doing homeschool now because of these issues. And to that, to their credit, homeschool institutions are making it. At one point, parents didn't think that they could participate in something like that because you felt the pressure, whereas now they have educators and their whole programs really designed to make it much easier for the student as well as the parent. So because of that, a lot of people that I know are choosing to go that route. And I think that it'll become a lot more popular, actually.
After the advent of COVID, there's a National Association of Black Homeschoolers where there are parents. Let's say you're an engineer and you may teach the math. Someone else may teach the English, and there's a National Association of Black Homeschoolers, and the parents who are proficient in these areas are taking turns teaching the groups of kids, and the Black homeschool movement is flourishing.
Yeah.
Particularly after COVID.
I want to do a show on that.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea, especially because, of course, you have to bring a balance because what school does provide is the social aspect, and you learn all types of things at school. Students and kids still need that, but what parents are doing is saying, okay, because you can structure the kids' day really well. You can get your education, and kids really thrive in that homeschool type of environment, but what they'll choose to do is say, okay, you still need your education, or you still need your social time with other kids. You still need some form of physical activity, so they'll take them to, like a bouncy house type of place, or, something somewhere where these kids can be interactive with other kids.
The National Association of Black Homeschoolers, they're taking their kids to the museum. They're taking their kids on trips to NASA. So it's not a situation like their little home on the prairie and there's someone indoctrinating them. Last thing, homeschooling and charter schools came out of white people's resistance to Brown versus Board of Education.
Oh, wow.
That's how the homeschooling movement started. The charter school movement began in an effort to resist this integration of schools. But black people have historically turned that thing around, and they began to develop African-centered schools and black homeschool movement and freedom schools.
You mean we made a negative situation turn it into a positive? We've never done that before.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's just what we do, you know what I'm saying?
Eliminate. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go.
Yeah, Fahima, before I let you go, I wanted to say my mom and my aunt listen to our show on a very regular basis. They live in Alabama, so they can never listen in live time, but they listen back to the podcast every single day, and they hear your calls, and they always give you your props, Fahima, and they love what you have to offer and the value that you offer. We appreciate you as well, and hopefully one day at some point in time in the universe they'll be able to have a good conversation with you. So we just wanted to thank you for that.
And Tyrese, thank you too, by the way.
Auntie, I said hey.
I will pass. They'll actually hear it. They'll hear you say hey. So thank you for that.
God bless you, Fahima. Have a good night, okay?
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Tell them I said hi. When we come forward, we'll take some more phone calls, and we'll play some Upon Further Review clips as well. You want to add to the discussion? We're talking Brittany Griner tonight, talking Biden, talking Wheeling, talking about the GOP, everybody. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. Danny Mo Show, KBLA, stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles, like George and Weezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
This winter, spread joy, not germs. As soon as you feel symptoms, test it, treat it. You can beat it. COVID medications like the Paxlovid pill can help you test negative sooner. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to find treatment today. Again, that's 833-422-4255. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Did you know that LA County Library has free Wi-Fi at all 85 library locations? That's right. Now they also offer free Wi-Fi and parking lots at participating locations. Visit a participating LA County Library location, park in a library parking lot, bring your own device, connect to the Wi-Fi, and you're ready to connect with your friends and family, do some online shopping, browse your social media accounts, answer emails, do your homework, and so much more. You won't need a library card to connect, but you can sign up for one while you're there and get access to free books, ebooks, music, movies, and more. For additional information, log on to lacountylibrary.org/Wi-Fi, lacountylibrary.org/Wi-Fi, that's lacountylibrary.org/Wi-Fi.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, reminding you, when we fight, we win. Central CSO organizes for the rights of the undocumented, quality public education, and supporting in solidarity other communities seeking social justice. Central CSO stands for Chicano X, self-determination, defending public education, and fighting for all oppressed people in Boyle Heights and East Los Angeles. Find Central CSO every third Wednesday. Visit online at centralcso.wordpress.com or on Instagram at CentralCS. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, so Robin and I had a conversation last hour, and we were talking about, because Tory Lanez is about 4'2", something like that.
Shady.
Is he not?
He's 5'2", or 3, or 4 or 5.
About the same thing. No, I was thinking about women will date a man who is really, really short, as long as he's rich and famous. But if you were a 5'2" cat making $10 an hour, she won't even give you a second look. Are women that superficial? That money and that fame supersedes anything else. He's also not a very handsome man, by the way.
Well, I want to be clear. If women are superficial, so are men.
But we admit it, though.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear.
I'm always clear about how superficial men are.
Yes, that's true.
I told you the badder she is, the more nonsense we will put up with. I say it all the time.
You have said that. I think that when it comes to men and their height, I think it's so unfortunate because you're right. I mean, I think that what it really boils down to is women don't want to have a complex when they're out with their men. It's several things here. So women want to feel like safe. They want to feel like they can be cuddled, like a little baby, like they want to be held and grabbed in so many different ways, right? And so they don't necessarily, this is a general statement here.
Okay, I hear you.
In the bigger picture, it's not necessarily like they feel like they can be protected or they can feel like Also, remember, as we're growing up, I think media has a lot to do with it. Media teaches you that you want this huge, knight in shining armor, this guy who, rides up on the rock type of, stature or whatever. And so that starts very young. So that's unfortunately working against the short men, right? But also there's preferences here. If a short man, generally speaking, finds his sort of match in a shorter woman, or at least the same height. I mean, there's someone for everyone, right? And so we all have different preferences. I think you just find your match. Not everybody you come in contact with is going to be your type, even though they can technically fit the bill. They're not going to be your type, not all of them. So you have to keep going, keep finding, keep living life until you find your match, right? Similarly with the shorter guy. But I think you're right to a certain degree. In order for her to deal with this or date this man, she's got to find something in him that is larger than his stature. So for a lot of women, the money is going to be larger than his height. His confidence is going to be larger than, or his power, whatever that is it's going to be larger than his height. I think that's how she balances it out.
Is height the one characteristic that is non-negotiable? It seems like that's the one. If we're only talking physical attributes, is that the one thing? Because I asked you off mic. I'll bring it to the mic. If you ask a man, you can either be really tall with very small area, genitalia, if you will, or vice versa. He would say, make me tall, man. I do not want to be short. That is the one thing a man does not want to be. You can make him balding, but still tall. You could probably even ask him, what if, I took a couple toes off of that foot right there? But you can still be tall. He said, I'll take that. Rather than have 10 toes and be 5'1", I'm in. Seems like height is so important because men believe women think that's number one.
That's sad because I'm not a man, and thank you, Mimi, for the shout out. Shout out to Mimi, Fahima, and you guys are Stacy. You guys are all holding it down in the YouTube chat room. Mimi says yes, height is very important, and taller men are considered more attractive in society, which I agree with. I think that's again a part of what media sells. But I'm not a man, so I can't say what a man would what his preference would be, but I would think that even a shorter man who has confidence would say, no, give me the goods down there because I can work my charm, I can work my whatever else. Men to think that is going to be, that's the big selling point. That's where you don't want to fail.
True.
So, well, and also be clear, it doesn't just, there are all kinds of men with all kinds of different, packages.
Generally speaking, tonight is all we're doing.
But I'm saying some men with smaller, this is from what I hear, smaller packages can do great things in the bedroom, right? But I'm saying, typically, I think speaking, my thing is, taller women don't want the complex, because keep in mind, it's not only the short man who has to deal with the complex while you're out. Women, I've been in this situation before where I'm maybe interested in dating this guy, but he's on the shorter side.
And you can't wear heels.
You don't want to wear heels because you don't want to make him feel bad.
Right.
And then you don't want to go out in public and have the opinion of other people like, oh, y'all are a little off. And unfortunately, that's, again, it's a part of society. So, we have people like Kevin Hart who is like, big in money, big in fame, big in confidence, and he had no problem bagging his beautiful, beautiful wife. And so, and she, with all her glory, she will wear her heels as well, even with standing next to him in pictures and all of that stuff, and they are inches difference between the two. So
he's larger than, he's standing on his wallet. That's a whole different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's big in all kinds of areas.
If we ask women, generally speaking, once again, would you rather date a 6'2" man with a small package, or vice versa? Which would they go for?
It's tough. I think
a short man that's packing.
Well, I'll say this: women who don't have who are not confident in themselves, would say, give me a man give me a shorter man, that's fine. If he's good everywhere else, if he can please me, and also if he has everything else that I like, the charm, and he's a good guy, and he's funny and all. Because remember, all of those things come into play too. We're not just talking height and nice package. We're not talking just about that, right? So.
It's like, example, the queen that you brought up in here.
Christina Johnson, his ex-wife.
How he got her, I was like, yo, CeeLo winning. But he was also CeeLo Green on the come up at that point.
Yes, he was. I mean, but, in that case, if you have some success and fame and, hit records at that time, you probably have a lot of confidence. You probably, it's only a problem for us when it's really a problem for you. If a man can step to you and really be confident in who he is, you're like, whoa, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, his confidence is something else. I'm telling you, charm and confidence and like being funny and those types of things will do wonders for any man, short or not.
It sounds like any black male celebrity can have any woman he wants.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's what it sounds like. No, he's going to have the charm because he's successful. He's got the money. He's got the fame.
Yeah. Still doesn't mean he can have any woman he wants.
If he walks into a club, he can't have any woman in the building?
No, because there are women that I know who are like, I really don't care who you are, what you have, what you do. Right? I'm a certain type of, I'm looking for something different. There are plenty of women who don't want to date an entertainer.
Yeah.
And
because there's no future in it.
So she thinks, right? Or you're going to have to deal with a lot. And a lot means it could be him still playing the field. It could be sugar-free. It could be whatever comes along with dating an entertainer. His schedule, him not being home all the time, you raising kids by yourself, or you having to travel to be with him in order to keep him happy and satisfied, or keep yourself happy and satisfied. I mean, there's just so much that comes along with being in the entertainment business. So I think some women would just prefer not.
You mentioned Kevin Hart's wife, who is probably the only one I can name. Name a black male celebrity that dated just a normal girl and married her.
A black male celebrity?
Black male celebrity.
I think there are tons.
I can't name another.
I can't name them off the top of my head, but there are a lot of black male celebrities who've dated just, average, common girls or women who work at yeah.
I can't name another one right
now. Are you
now.
saying that they were celebrities at the time?
They're celebrities when they met, yeah. And married just a normal girl.
Yeah.
And now they're married.
CeeLo Green, you just mentioned one.
Yeah.
Christina Johnson was, a regular, girl, and beautiful, wow. Beautiful. But yeah, there are tons, I think, because remember also in the entertainment world, and I know we're up against it here, but in the entertainment world, men want to be grounded.
It goes what you and I were talking about recently, how you almost have to date someone in the industry just so he or she can understand what you're going through on the regular. And quote unquote regular folk, I hate that term, that's all I got, don't understand.
Mimi says, Danny, you're really on this package thing.
What are you talking about? I ain't on no package thing. I'm just saying. You better don't. It's YouTube. Don't make me show visual proof. No, I'm playing. News and traffic right now. Danny Mo Show. Stay there.
Nighttime is the right time for Danny Morrison on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A bill ensuring federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriages is now the law of the land. President Biden signed the Respect for Marriage Act during a ceremony at the White House. Is said to be doing well as she recovers at a Texas military hospital after being released from Russian custody. Appearing on ABC this week, the White House's John Kirby described Griner as being in very good spirits and in good health. In the Big Apple, a northern entrance to Manhattan Central Park will be named for the group known as the Central Park Five. The Gate of the Exonerated is what's inscribed at the entrance, named for the 5 black men who spent years in prison as teens after being wrongfully convicted in the assault and rape of a jogger in 1989. The world's largest crypto exchange, Binance, has seen nearly $2 billion in withdrawals in the last 24 hours. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Has your household been hit with COVID-19? Learn about a research study from the comfort of home. We are looking at ways to help people with COVID-19 feel better faster. Learn more at active6study.org/radio. That's activ6study.org/radio.
The pen mightier than the sword. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. At KBLA Talk 1580, we not only have a lot to talk about, we have a lot to write about. Politics, relationships, business, empowerment, and culture. The all-star roster at KBLA Talk 1580 has. Be sure to follow us on all our socials for our latest book releases, op-eds, essays, and commentaries from our hosts. And, of course, download the KBLA 1580 app as we strive to remain your most trusted, credible, and reliable source for the issues you care about. This is unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. What up, baby?
Central Neighborhood Health Foundation is a full-service network of federally qualified health care centers that serves local communities throughout Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. CNHF clinics provide low-cost to no-cost, compassionate, comprehensive, quality health care, which includes primary care services for chronic disease and diabetes management, pediatric and women's services, preventive care, vision and dental screenings, COVID-19 testing and vaccines, flu vaccines, behavioral health, HIV, and substance use services. Virtual telehealth visits are available from the comfort of your home with highly qualified physicians and medical professionals. CNHF also provides peer support specialist training and help with housing navigation. Central Neighborhood Health Foundation. Your wellness is our priority. Comprehensive care built on trust and respect. For more information, visit nhfclinics.org or call 213-536-5815 today to locate a clinic near you.
KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you a happy holiday and wants to bless you with one night only. A Wonder Winter's Night presented by Stevie Wonder's House Full of Toys benefits concert. Saturday, December 17th at Microsoft Theater. Download the KBLA Talk 1580.com mobile app to enter to win a pair of tickets. This has been a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Over the course of this year, I have delivered a number of editorials about the troublesome case of LA City Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas. In each editorial, I laser-focused on three bedrock principles of our democracy: due process, the presumption of innocence, and fundamental fairness. The recent settlement of Ridley Thomas's compensation claim is a major victory for due process, the presumption of innocence, and fundamental fairness to which we are all entitled. This settlement represents a tacit acknowledgement by the City of Los Angeles that City Controller Ron Galperin, Fuhrer, and former City Council President Nuri Martinez, who was forced to resign in disgrace, excessively abused their power. Their actions were not just legally wrong, they were harmful to Ridley Thomas's legal defense. You cannot accuse an individual, take away the seat to which they were duly elected, their health care in the midst of a pandemic, I might add, their pension and their salary, then tell them that while they are suspended, they cannot earn outside income, and somehow expect that they will have the resources to fight and defend their good name. It was preposterous then, and in retrospect, it's even more outrageous now. Much of the blame for this travesty of justice rests squarely on the shoulders of Nuri Martinez, who allowed her personal political ambitions, racial animosity, and thirst for power to override good governance and good judgment. It was abundantly clear on that now infamous leaked audio tape that Martinez wanted to punish and tarnish Ridley Thomas, and she did, but she ruined herself in the process. Big Mama always said, God don't like ugly, and he ain't fond of cute. Once Nuri Martinez was no more, the council quickly and correctly moved to resolve an injustice born in part by their own rush to judgment and abdication of responsibility in performing due diligence. Their settlement action this week starts the process of restoring honor and trust. In March, Ridley Thomas will finally have his day in court and a chance to restore his good name. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your comments.
You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
So close to being legal. Need round two, I need a sequel. Hit the back one like a free throw. You next level, you a cheapo. In so deep, you in my sequel. Got me singing like a lead show. Got me using all your lingo. Tell your girlfriend that she over cause of cool cars. Read little bit, but like a porn star. Next day, acts like the road dog. Asking how you know her. Can't get through the baby dog got too loud, like feel a boca. After school, supernova. That ain't coming over. Can I stop by? See you tonight. Can I stop by? See you.
Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We were ranking our favorite female. Are we still calling it neo soul? What do we call it in 2022? I don't know. What do you call it?
Like that? That's R&B.
You call it straight R&B?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's R&B. Could it go into like a neo soul? Sure, yeah. Sure.
And we were ranking our top 5.
Oh. Well, we didn't even have a number. We just were ranking, women. And I couldn't necessarily rank them because I love them all. But, yeah, that was Summer Walker.
I think that's Summer.
Was that Summer?
Who was that? Who?
Kalani. Yeah, and that was Andy's choice as well. And, Kalani is so good. She's so good.
Some talent out there for sure.
Yeah.
Will you know who they are 5 years from now?
Will we know who they are 5 years from now?
Will they still
be like relevant?
I hate relevance.
I know.
After what Nas went through.
Yeah.
Will they?
I hope so. I think so. There's no reason for them not to be. I think this game is just so different now, the entertainment game, just because you're no longer required to be signed by a big label where the label has this control over whether you put out music or not. So because that's the case, and because I think all of these women that we know are very passionate about making music, hopefully they'll just continue to make music regardless of, the politics of the music industry.
I hope you're right. And speaking of control, I mentioned that Janet Jackson announced her concert, and I was thinking about Janet and her career spanned over like 20 years, hits and millions of albums sold. And I asked myself, have we gotten past the point of the superstar? Is that now over? Because I came from an era where Michael and Janet and Prince and even Bruce Springsteen and Madonna, and we had superstars. What's going to happen 10 years from now? Are you willing to bet that any of these artists from 2022 are going to be able to say, I'm going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point?
Okay, the only way I think this is possible, which is why I respect what Beyonce does so much, is she's out of reach. She's out of reach. She's not accessible. You don't know where to write Beyonce. You don't know where she's going to be next until she just makes some announcement or does a surprise album or something. You just don't know because she's out of reach. With that being said, it reminds me very much of the days that we're used to where you did have superstars. There was no such thing as social media. So you could I remember just being a young kid and hoping that's why it was such a big deal when you saw celebrities in real life, because you're like, I had no idea I was ever going to pop up and meet you right here, right? It was such a surprise because we just did not know. And so Beyonce is the same thing. Her, Jay-Z, is the same type of thing with them. That's why we have superstardom with them, because they also came in at a time where there was not really social media, the advent of social media yet. So with these other newer artists right now, they're so involved with social media. and in sharing their thoughts, and they leave nothing to the imagination.
To their detriment too.
Definitely to their detriment at times. And I think that if they pull back a bit, and gave a little bit more of like mysterious sort of, just a personality, just something mysterious about them, I think we would kind of relish in that a little bit more, and I think it would be very successful for them.
I love where you're going with that because you make me think, is Beyonce the last of the R&B superstars?
She is kind of like the last of it. We have like people like Bruno Mars, who's not yet hit superstardom, but he was, I think, on his way. I think he does well. I don't follow him on social media, but I don't hear a lot about him. I don't hear him being out at parties on a lot of red carpets. I don't see that. So that when you're he's very, very talented. So when you're that talented and you can stay off of social media, you can stay a little bit like below the radar, I think you have the ability to kind of hit that superstardom if you kind of keep going in that trajectory.
Wow, you are really diagnosing it tonight. I love where you're going.
I feel like we need some more innovation today. I feel like artistry, everything has been done.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to be an innovator in this day. To stand out like Michael Jackson with the Moonwalk, Prince and his instrumentation and all of that. All of that stuff was like groundbreaking and new. So in today's day, I think it's just a little bit difficult to be groundbreaking because everything has been done. Everybody is following the system. When it comes to music, it's easy to just rap over this beat and make millions, but there's nothing unique about today's artists.
It sounds like what we're saying right now is there's really nobody under the age of 30 that you see having a and be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point. And nobody black.
Under 30, yeah, maybe not.
But that is terrifying because we invented this thing. You know that, right?
Well, you know what? Kind of on this note, we'll see where it goes from here, but I know this guy who he is doing something. He knows it too. He's doing something that is it'll blow your mind.
Different.
It's so different, and this is coming from me who has seen a lot. I've seen kind of all of it. You know what I'm saying? He's doing something that could change the game.
That'd be great.
In music, and so I can't wait till he comes out with his project and he's able to talk about it. But he's trying to figure some things out right now, and I'm telling you, this could be the new thing. It could be the new wave.
That'd be great.
Talking about innovation.
So Beyonce and Chris Brown are the last of the R&B superstars. Is that what we're saying?
It's interesting because he definitely hit superstardom, but he still is on social media to a degree. To a degree. He doesn't give you everything. So he's kind of splitting the difference between like utilizing social media when he has something to say. Other than that, you don't really get a lot from him, which I like as well. I like a celebrity who is just not accessible. We don't know anything about what you're thinking, your thoughts, what you ate today. We don't care to see any of that. I like those types of celebrities.
Are you prepared to call him an R&B superstar?
Sure.
Superstar?
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame superstar?
I think so. I think definitely he's headed there.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
That is so scary because man.
They're dropping some nuggets in here talking about Tyrese Gibson is one who married someone who isn't famous.
Look how that turned out.
Samuel Jackson and Denzel. Denzel married Pauletta. I think she was known in the Broadway arena, but not necessarily famous like he was. Samuel Jackson,
he's been with her since he was on crack and everything, right?
You know what? To your point, they weren't celebrities. That's right. So yeah, these men grew to their celebrity status, but they weren't celebrities at the time that they married their wives.
You guys are only making my point right now.
But Tyrese is a good one.
Tyrese, but it didn't work out either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, both of them didn't work. But he did marry them. Yeah.
I think the torchbearer to this entire conversation is probably Kevin Hart. Probably.
But and I hope that they continue to remain married. I especially love black love. I love when we can prove that we can be a family, that we can stay together.
I had to endure a lot to keep that family together. Let's keep it real up in there.
She has. And the other thing is that they're still fairly new. I think maybe 5 years or somewhere around that number. So they have a while to go, but I think that they're doing a good job right now. Hopefully she doesn't have to endure, anything near what she's had to endure already with them.
Yeah. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, let's jump into my man Trevor Noah. Let's play Black back. Yeah, let's play Black. That clip on the other side. Danny Mo Show, stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles, like George and Weezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
Study reveals barriers to mental health for Black and Latina women in California. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. A poll conducted by Eviderist, sponsored by Black Women Organized for Political Action and Hispanic for Political Equity, found that 77% of some 800 women participants experienced some form of discrimination due to personal characteristics. More than 3 in 5 respondents have had mental health concerns for which they did not seek care. These same women reported often having had negative experiences with providers. 70% of Black women and 54% of Latinas reported racial or ethnic discrimination. Another 59% of Black women and 55% of Latinas report assumptions were made about their income and education levels. 40% of Latinas reported discrimination based on assumptions about their ability to communicate in English, while 28% reported assumptions about their documentation or immigration status. I'm Maisha Cairo, and that's your K-Black Minute News.
At Cedars-Sinai, we're honored to be named the #1 hospital in California and the #2 hospital in the nation in U.S. News and World Report's Best Hospitals Honor Roll. We're also proud to be named #1 in 6 specialties in Los Angeles. Thank you to our physicians, nurses, academic leaders, and thousands of other team members who bring their best to Cedars-Sinai every day. Learn more about our top-ranked care at cedars-sinai.org.
You're the victim of a car accident. Who goes to you is crucial. We're MVP Accident Attorneys, the personal injury pros. Hiring the right law firm could be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. When it comes to getting the maximum compensation you deserve, our team hits it out of the park. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for a free case review. Call 833-MVP-WINS.
Call on me, your MVP.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Ew. Stuck in a cycle of rewashing your clothes? Because you can't remove tough laundry odor? When detergent by itself can't cut it, use new Downy Rinse and Refresh. With a breakthrough odor-removing formula, it removes odors in 1 wash, better than the leading value detergent in 3 washes, keeping all your laundry fresh. Now you can break the cycle of rewashing with Downy Rinse and Refresh.
Real talk, real time. The gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Programming note, tomorrow we're going to talk about Meg Thee Stallion and the demonization of the black female as it relates to media. And then on Thursday, I'm going to flip the script and bring it to you on how T.J. Holmes is going through the same thing. Even though that cat deserves a lot of the hell he's going through. But it seems like there's a double standard when it comes to black men and women. So, we'll break that down over the next couple days. Here's our Upon Further Review clips. A lot of you send us clips that relate to some of the topics of conversation we have on this broadcast. And obviously, a number of you sent me this clip from Trevor Noah, who is leaving The Daily Show. He's worth $100 million. He's been on that show for a few years, and now he just wants to tour the world and do his comedy, which, by the way, I think that cat's just getting started. If he sets a toe in movies and TV.
Oh, yeah.
How old is he? He can be 35. How old is that?
Maybe that. But he also has a comedy special right now. He's been doing comedy, so if he continues to do that. But I think if he gets into some TV, like movies, I don't know if that's his route or not. I mean, we try to turn everybody into an actor or, some sort of performer, but I don't think he'll do well. He's a likable kind of guy.
You think it's funny? He's brilliant. Do you think he's funny?
38. Okay. He's not necessarily my type of funny. Yeah, I like him a lot though, but he's not my type of funny.
I don't think that the brothers and sisters rock with him like that. Although this viral video, he gained some more followers after this thing. I cannot believe how many black people have posted this thing and said thank you so much.
But I'll disagree with that. I think people do rock with him in that way. He's always representing. He's never not represented. So I think that people like him a lot.
You don't think some people have a problem with the fact that he is a true African American?
I don't know. I've not heard anybody say anything about that or against him for that.
He's a true African.
You tickled yourself with that one.
He's a true African American, is he not?
Yeah, he is.
Let's blaze up the clip. This is Trevor Noah giving his final address, if you will, from The Daily Show on his final episode. Listen.
It's random for some, but special shout out to black women. I've often been credited with, having these grand ideas of people like, oh, Trevor, you're so smart and I'm like, who do you think teaches me? Who do you think has shaped me, nourished me, informed me? From my mom, my grand, my aunts, all these black women in my life, but then in America as well. I always tell people, if you truly want to learn about America, talk to black women. Yeah. Because unlike everybody else, black women cannot afford to around and find out. Black people understand how hard it is when things go bad, especially in America, but any place where black people exist, whether it's Brazil, whether it's South Africa, wherever it is, when things go bad, black people know that it gets worse for them. But black women in particular, they know what shit is. Genuinely. People always be shocked and be like, why do they vote the way? Yeah, because they know what happens if things do not go the way it should. They cannot afford to around and find out. And so black women who have taught me, all of them, the scholars online, the authors, everybody, the Roxanne Gay, the Tressie McMillan Cottons, I'll remember the names, the Zoe Tamuzis, brilliant women. Taken the time to inform me, to educate me, to argue with me, with Tarana Burks, who laughed with me, talking about everything from sexual assaults to just what life is like. Yeah, man, I'll tell you now, do yourself a favor. If you truly want to know what to do or how to do it, or maybe the best way or the most equitable way, talk to black women. They're a lot of the reason that I'm here, and so I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to every single one of you. This has been an honor. Thank you.
That is a legendary career, leaving The Daily. Stewart left that show years ago. People said, "There's some big old shoes to fill, man."
Oh, and he's filled them quite well.
He did
quite well.
Very well for himself.
Fahima says Trevor Noah had a part in Black Panther. He was the voice communicating with Sherry.
Really?
And then Stacy. Yeah, I didn't know that. Stacy L. Morgan says when Trevor said that he showed black women are. I'm sorry, I don't know what the comment says. It says showed how
didn't show black women how to write.
Shut your face. Wait. Oh my goodness.
He didn't show black women how to type on the typewriter.
Wow. I'm sorry. Okay. Supposed to be covered by black men. Okay. Sorry, Stacey. I don't know how.
Stacey, it's time for some sleep. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Are you drinking and typing right now? That's all I'm saying.
Listen, you were funny. No, shout out to Trevor. I really like Trevor. I have to say this really quickly. We're going to talk about this soon because lawmakers are trying to ban TikTok from the U.S.
Wow.
Which I
Some
think
of us
is a really
would appreciate it.
Really good thing. Lastly, because we talked about this yesterday, there's an update. The Colorado hotel employees have been suspended about the Mark Curry.
Are you kidding me?
They have been suspended for selling Mark Curry.
Is Mark good with that?
I've not heard him say anything about it. I'm sure he's happy with it. Unfortunately, I just don't think that was the right move. I think that was really unfortunate, and it could have been handled so much more differently.
How were they racially and why are you clapping? What are you clapping for them being suspended?
Well, Andy agrees that they were actually racially profiling. I don't know that they were. I think it could have been a simple, again, had Mark said, yes, I'm a guest here, and they continued, that would have been something different. He did not answer them whatsoever, and so I'm just not sure that was the right call.
Robin, do we just have so many chips on our shoulder these days that we take offense to everything?
Yeah, I think we are very heightened.
And is that our fault for having chips on our shoulder?
Wow.
That's the thing.
Wow.
Because there is precedent there.
That's
and
a conversation.
In that entire video, but some might say, yeah, but that happens to us all the time. That's
and he's right. No, the sad part about it is that he is right in that we do experience that a lot, and is it possible that he was being racially profiled? That's a big possibility. Only he really knows what happened right before he started filming. Only he knows that. We can only see, or have an opinion on what we've seen. And he's absolutely right. And so are the people in social media that say, listen, we deal with this all the time. They deserve to be, suspended or whatever the case is, and that Mark was right. I just think that we are everything is so sensitive, and we're almost overly sensitive now, and we call everything racism. When sometimes it's just not. Sometimes it's just human interaction. Sometimes, not everything deserves to have the race card pulled out. So I just don't know if that was the right call or not.
I think we've also got a problem with authority a lot of the time, too. But some might say the people that were trying to talk to him at that hotel, were they authority figures? Those questions.
That's a good question. It's a good question. I do believe that the backup guy who came, I don't think it was all that necessary. You know what I mean? Like, y'all ain't got to come up here all with you and all of your hubris to come, you know what I'm saying, talk to me like this. I don't think that was necessary. I think it could have been handled differently on both parts.
And the final question.
Yeah.
If that is a 70-year-old white woman sitting there,
should she
approach?
No, not at all.
I think that's going to be Mark's point. You know why you came up and talked to me. I'm a large black man.
That's exactly his point. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in YouTube. We appreciate you, Stacey and Mimi and Fahima. Y'all are showing a lot of love. We definitely appreciate you.
Stacey, go get some sleep and learn how to spell.
Leave Stacey alone.
I love you, Stacey. Good luck. God bless. Go. Keep it on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about. Be good.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning. I'm Ree Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A major recall is in the works. ByHeart is voluntarily recalling 5 batches of its wholly nutritional infant formula. A test sample showed it carried meningitis-causing bacteria. President Biden is expected to sign into law during a celebration at the White House later